boop, 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 boop. I hope I don't
That's
get a
about it, much.
PMSA strike. And we are recording.
Oh,
Cloud Brothers. Diddle, diddle, diddle. You're living in a dream. Like and subscribe to the Cloud Brothers.
that's all that I know of that song. A little bit of
A little
Monica, and
bit
that's
of
it.
Monica on
That's
your
the only
side.
words I know.
A little bit of Monica on your side. It wasn't me. That's a different song by the same guy.
Really?
I think so. Yeah.
See, I don't even have that
Shaggy.
information.
Shaggy. It wasn't me. Artist. Shaggy.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then a little bit of Monica lyrics. Artist. Oh no, I was wrong. It's Lou Bega. I always thought that was Shaggy. That's so weird. They were popular around the same time.
Just educated yourself.
Sorry, Lou Bega.
Educate yourself,
and Shaggy.
Educate yourself.
Lou Bega isn't. Yeah, there you go. Totally different dude. Mambo
wouldn't
number
remember.
5.
I wouldn't remember the name, but I'm pretty sure they were different people.
Oh yeah, they're definitely different. They look different. They sing different. It just, I think maybe it's because when I used to go clubbing with the Caribbean people in Vancouver, we'd go out on the nights we'd go out. They would play Mambo number 5 and then Shaggy. Like they played Lou Bega, Bega
So
and
the
then
playlist.
Shaggy.
That makes sense.
So my brain just and my memory mashed them together.
That makes sense.
Yep, that makes sense. Anyway,
during the week, my contributing or continuing contribution to this. I was looking for different types of applications and different things that you could use for the API.
Yes.
And I walked through this one. I watched a video of it. I don't think we'll watch the video. I think we'll.
Yeah, we don't need to watch it.
Walk through the website.
Because this one, but I'll get rid of it.
There.
Yep.
Yeah, we can link it in the description.
Yeah, I can do that later, just an option. But I'm going to play it. I heard before and I've learned that when you play other people's YouTube videos in your video, it will reduce your views for some reason. But
people might get mad. I don't know. Who knows?
It's just maybe that's why they're just trying to avoid conflicts. I do not know.
Yep.
I am but a
yeah. But I've heard YouTube makes a playlist that just keep that like encourage beefs because you watch more if you're watching drama.
Well, it's not really like I heard a guy on the podcast Everybody Loves to Hate on Joe Rogan, where one of his friends was like, I'm curious about this, so I played puppy videos for a week straight. All I watched was puppy videos. He said, I smoked weed and I watched puppy videos, and that's all I did, because like he's in between shows. He's a comedian, obviously, being on that show all the time. And he and then all he gets on YouTube when he pops on is puppy videos. He said it's great. Whatever you engage in, that's what it goes for. And people tend to engage in things that kind of make them feel irritated. I can't believe this is happening. But this guy loves puppies, so he just watched puppies.
Yeah.
It worked for him.
It's the what do they call that now? There's a word for that.
What, confirmation bias?
Yeah, something like that. Like you see what you look for.
Yeah, like I bought a Kia Sorento, right? From my friend, and then all I see is Kias on the road for a year after I get it until I kind of forget. And, that car's like mine.
Yeah.
You know, it's the exact same idea, and my brain engages because I see something familiar. It's a little bit fascinating.
Scientific name: reticular activating system.
Ah, right.
The REC. That's the REC. RAC.
Fair.
Or RES. Yeah. Anyway, I was thinking it would be a good idea to do this. It doesn't have the Kubernetes, but it has Docker and Flask, and it has 2 of the 3 parts that you need.
I like Kubernetes.
And it's easy enough to follow, and you have to understand Docker at least a little bit to use the Kubernetes.
All right, let's get it.
Yeah, so let's try this. I don't think it should take that long, actually.
All right. Well, what we got going on here is how to Dockerize a Flask application by Andia Kalajosing.
That was
Um,
pretty good. I wouldn't even have tried that.
why not? How to Dockerize a Flask application. So these days, developers need to develop, ship, and run applications quicker than ever. Unfortunately, oh, and not unfortunately, and fortunately, okay, if I were to edit this, I would take the and out of there. But,
And then
and,
put the pop noise.
yeah, you just put a F, capital F. That's all you need right here. Capital F. Capital, sir. Fortunately, there's a tool that helps you do that. Docker. With Docker, you can now easily ship, test, and deploy your code quickly while maintaining full control of your infrastructure. It significantly reduces how long it takes to get from writing code to running it in production. This article will show you how to make a basic Docker image and run it as a container. For the demonstration, we'll use Flask as our web framework and Docker for image creation and containerization. You'll also learn a few Docker commands that are commonly used.
What is Flask, Corey? I don't know. I've never heard of it
Well,
before.
well, I'll tell you, Flask is a popular Python microweb framework that helps you develop lightweight web applications and APIs quickly and easily. As a web framework, it provides greater flexibility, customization, and scalability for simple web applications while remaining highly compatible with cutting-edge technologies.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I think so too.
What else can it do? No.
What is Docker? Well, I'm so glad you asked, Scott. Docker is a tool that makes it easier to create, deploy, and run applications. A Docker container is a collection of dependencies and code organized as software that enables applications to run quickly and efficiently in a range of computing environments. A Docker image, on the other hand, is a blueprint that specifies how to run an application. In order for Docker to build images, automatically, a set of instructions must be stored in a special file known as a Docker file. The instructions in the file are executed by the user on the CLI or the command line interface in order to create an image. Like as in this diagram, Docker file to Docker file to and that Docker file to Docker image, which goes to the Docker containers. Now this is how you set up the project. Okay. The basic directory structure. After completing the following steps, our application structure will look like this. So there's the Flask, Docker.
Do you want to start this, or do you want to read it first and then do it?
Yeah, I kind of want to read it
first.
Read
it first. Yeah, read it first and do it. It's a good idea.
RTFM, man. Read the friendly manual.
Read the friendly manual. That's good. I like it.
App.py. Docker file, requirements.txt, and venv. In this section, we'll go over how to create an application with a structure similar to the one shown above. You can find a detailed guide on how to create or install this project here. Assuming you followed the instructions correctly and have an active virtual environment with Flask installed, we will now modify the two files created in GitHub README as follows. How to modify. Okay, so take it from here. What am I supposed to do?
I might as well scroll down to the end. So it's just change. So you're gonna change the app file.
What?
Right?
Are they doing construction outside your house?
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. I just want to make sure that there's nothing falling
you
down
are hearing
around
what you're. You are hearing what you're hearing.
I just want to make sure there's, my kids didn't find the radio
alarm. The jackhammer. The jackhammer.
Jackhammer. I get it. Okay, so from import Flask, app equals Flask name.
So this is basic Python, and that's Express, that app route thing. Or no, it's Flask. Sorry, we're working in Flask.
Yeah, now if we run Python app.py on the command line to test our Flask app, we should get these results.
Yeah, okay, and then you see the thing, and it goes to port
how to modify the Docker
5000.
Before we build an image for the application we just created, let's first understand what the lines of code in the Docker file above and what role they play. The below code should be the very first line of the Docker file. It tells the Docker builder what syntax to use while parsing the Docker file and the location of the Docker syntax file. Whoop. While it is possible to create our own base images, there is no need to go that far because Docker allows us to inherit existing images. The following line tells Docker which base image to use, in this case, Python image.
Yeah.
To keep things organized, we'll also tell Docker which folder to use for the rest of the operations. So we use a relative path as shown below. In this case, we're telling Docker to use the same directory and name for the rest of its operations. It's a directory contained within our container image.
Yeah.
Um,
So that work directory thing, I don't know how much Docker you've dug into, but the work directory um, moves all the files from that folder onto the container, I
yeah.
believe.
So in the fourth and fifth lines, we'll tell Docker to copy the contents of a requirements.txt file into the large containers image requirements.txt file, then run pip installation to install all the dependencies in the same file to be used by the image. Bop.
Yeah, and those are the
Continuing
commands you
with the
use.
copying, we now copy the remainder of the files, local working directory, to the directory in the Docker image. And those dots are stars. I got boned. Like that's bad phrasing. I got
Diggity.
I got in I was trying to test something because I was told you have to test the star and it
Yeah.
because,
Think these are dots.
because I'm 50, I thought the
Yeah.
stars when I was told they were a star, I
Yeah.
believed they were a star. When I looked at it, it was a star, and then when I looked closer, when we were upon further examination of why it wasn't working, that's
Yeah.
not a
It was a
star at
dot.
all.
Yeah.
Directory on local machine. Directory contained within our
Yeah.
container
See,
image.
that's
Yeah.
what it does.
Blah, 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 blah. Our image so far has all of the files that are similar to those in our local working directory. Our next task is to assist Docker in understanding how to run this image in a container. This line specifically instructs Docker to run our Flask app as a module, as indicated by the -m tag. Then it instructs Docker to make the container available externally, such as from a browser, rather than just from within the container. We pass the host port. Well, that one's from anywhere, obviously. Since we had if blah 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 blah, because if we had the if statement in our application file, this will be true if we run this module as a standalone program as a resulting function. It's a module imported by another program or as a standalone program, but it will only execute the code in the if statement if run as a program. After that, all that remains is to build our image. Using Docker build, we can now enlist Docker's help in building the image. You can combine the build command with other tags, such as the tag flag, to specify the image name. How to run the image as a container. Running an image inside a container is as simple as building one, but before we do so, we'd like to see what the other images available in our environment are. To view images from the command line, execute the following Docker images. And then it shows you your options in your
Yeah.
repository.
Yeah.
Now we can choose the image to run using the Docker run command. While running the above command, you'll notice that on the command line, it indicates the application is running, but when you enter this localhost 5000 on the browser, this will be greeted by the site can't be reached. Localhost refused to connect regardless of whether the container is running. It is doing so in isolation mode and cannot connect to localhost 5000. The best solution is to run it in detached mode because we need to view this application in the browser rather than container. Will modify our Docker run and add two additional tags, -d to run it in detached mode and -p to specify the port to be exposed. The
Yeah.
Docker run command will be as follows: Docker run -d, as they mentioned, .p. So detached and port 5000 to
Yeah.
5000 Python Docker. Um, this time we'll see the following output. If we run it in detached mode and visit localhost at port 5000, hello from Flask and Docker. We can use the following command to see which containers are currently running. Docker outputs as follows: update in 5 minutes. To stop the currently running container, we execute this command. Another useful command to have with a Docker is this one. It Docker container prune. Oh, that's a new one. I haven't seen that one before.
Yeah.
Removes
So
unused resources, freeing up space to keep your system clean. And that's it. for taking
And
time to
that's
read
it.
this article.
That's fantastic.
Please
Okay, cool.
share,
So you know
thank me
it's
in a tweet, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Well, not really
we'll
on
do
Twitter.
all of those things and copy this into the description.
Yeah, I will
Um,
definitely do that. So,
so,
so where
so
do we
that's where
start?
we're going. I don't think that should take that long. So the decision now. So there's three things in there that I got. One was there's follow these instructions to set it up. Two, you got to expose the port for it to show up when you start it. So you might as well just skip that part where you do it and then go to the expose port
Yeah.
part,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Because you know that's
yeah,
just
I
a learning
understand that.
thing.
Yeah.
And then number three, I forgot already.
Yeah, I don't. Let's add the following line. So I need to go to the project though if I want to modify
Yeah,
it, right?
I think that's the.
So I'll.
Is that like a GitHub?
Yeah. Okay. So clone fork.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. This is the third one was. Whoops. Sorry. The third one was to
Windows.
decide which.
Which operating system to do it on, and since there's Windows option, I'll just do it on Windows because I'm not running a VM right now.
You're on Docker. You have Docker on. Do Docker version and your PowerShell. Just make sure you have Docker. Or you have Docker desktop.
You're a Docker version.
You're a Docker.
Hold on.
You start your Docker desktop, I think.
I just want to see if I have it in my because I did a lot of this stuff. You can't see my command line, right?
All I can see is
yeah, all you can see is Chrome.
Chrome.
Okay, hold on. I'll have to
do some finagling.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to change it for you. Oh, that's weird. Hold on. Because you don't need sound from this. Oh yeah,
No.
I've got Docker in my CLI in my command line.
So I don't need to see this if. Oh, actually, it wouldn't be bad if I could see.
Yeah, I'm just gonna change this. OBS. I need to change it in OBS. So what you're looking at is going to change. Oh, actually, I have to do it in Discord.
So much stress.
Yep, I'm gonna stop this stream, and then I'm gonna screen. Wait. You're gonna screen. Do go live. You're gonna be all weird for a second.
Oh, yeah. I saw your command prompt now.
Yep. And then I have to go back into OBS. Oh yeah, we're all back to normal. We're living the dream once again. Okay, so you can see.
This worked well, by the way. You start it. You do restart it. Unpaused. Yes, I see your.
Oh, I never pause it.
I thought you paused it.
Nah, I did that all live. Probably shouldn't have said that stuff about that lady.
That lady.
So
you got Docker running. Is Docker running though? Do Docker status or something like that.
But I don't think I have to run it yet.
Well, it has to, okay, yeah, actually, yeah, never mind.
I have to git clone.
Just follow the instructions. Never remind me.
I gotta do this stuff. Hey, none of that.
Actually, don't explain what venv in there, but what venv is virtual environment.
Fair enough. Hey. Oh yeah, I forgot to remember this.
Oh yeah, nice. Oh, there you are.
I'll do this. Yeah. Okay, here we go. So now we're over here. We're gonna go into. Yeah, I'll put this link up too. I think.
Yeah, for sure.
In the description. So I'm gonna go over here, do my git clone. Cloning into Flask Docker app. So that was step 1. Step 2 is active.
No, wait. Look at your command line. Something wrong with your command line. On the right side. Something wrong there. You haven't completed the step. You haven't completed the first step. You copied and pasted, but you haven't hit enter, so it did the first 2 commands. It hasn't done the third command yet. It's Python 3, and then, yeah, there you go.
Okay, there it goes. Okay, so I've done that. So now it wants me to activate. Now, uh,
It's activating your virtual environment. So you want to
oh,
do,
so
yeah,
this is so it's installed. So this is just the activating here. Okay, I got you.
correct.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. That's
Yeah,
weird.
there you go.
Okay.
And then
Install the requirements applies to
it,
all formats because it's just a TXT file. So it's code. Pip install. So that
well,
did
I should teach you about Jinja one day too. We should do a video about Jinja.
about
Jinja 2.
the Jinja Ninja.
Yeah. Because it's
Okay,
funny because the Ninja is part of their logo. It's hilarious.
nice.
And then it says run Python app. This is the next step 5.
A Python app py. But we all like to copy and paste, so we're going to do that. This
Yeah,
is a
yeah,
development server. Do not use in a production environment. Pay
yeah,
attention to the red
yeah,
marks. Or create a new
yeah.
application from scratch. No thanks.
Yeah, so that's your like base thing that they want you to install. So this is running right now on your local machine, right?
Yes.
And so if you opened up another browser and went to, or another tab, sorry, and went to 127.0.5000, you should see that Flask thing right now. I don't think you need the last part, the last thing. Yeah. See? So you've installed Flask from their thing, and it's just a simple Flask app that you checked out and started. And the objective is to turn this into a container. So I think you can stop that now with the Control C, uh, and we'll just stop it, I believe. Yeah, so that stopped your app. Now, if you refresh, it's not going to be running because your app's obviously not running anymore.
Yeah.
Right? So now you can go back to the README for the first README, the first layer.
Okay, so you're
so
talking about
that's
this?
done. Yeah, so back to that one now. Yeah.
So,
assuming you followed the installation
well,
instructions.
if I did it by, which I did, obviously. So
Yeah.
we
Do
are.
you have Visual Code installed on here?
Probably. But can't you do all this from the command line?
It's much more difficult. If you do it ls in the directory that you're in there. Yeah, open that up. It's just easier. And then open that thing in open that folder in Visual Studio Code. You go. It's not quite open yet. I don't know what it's doing.
It says opening remote.
Oh, you don't need the remote. I probably added that for you when we were. I don't know. Click on the. I think it's
starting Ubuntu for some reason.
Oh, maybe that's connecting to your local host and your Linux. Yeah, yeah. Don't worry about that. In that same thing in the Explorer.
Sorry? Do you mean down here?
Actually, file's fine. Go to file.
Mm-hmm.
Add folder to workspace. Right there, yeah. Oh, right. This is connected to your VM. This is what we did last time a couple of streams ago. We connected your VM to we connected your Visual Studio Code to
I think we connected to Ubuntu on Windows because I don't like it. I don't think it's.
No, this isn't what we want. This isn't what I want. Click on File and New Window. Click on New Window.
But let's go.
Oh, actually, it did it. Oh yeah, there you go. Untitled works. Do new window. You want new window?
Yeah, I'm just trying to. There we go.
There you go. Okay, so that shouldn't have anything in the workspaces, which it does not, which is perfect. And you don't want to save that, yeah.
Okay, so back to reality.
So now go to File, add folder to Workspace.
Okay, there we go.
That should get there you go. Now, wherever you kept that, I don't know where you checked that out. I usually check it out in Documents, Projects.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you cloned the repo. Where did you clone the repo in your PowerShell? Go back to your PowerShell and do a pwd or a ls.
When you're saying PowerShell, do you mean here?
Yeah, I thought we were in PowerShell, but oh yeah, so it's just CA Mugford. That's the folder you need to open.
Oh, CA Mug. Yeah.
CA Mug and then Flask Docker.
Oh, I see. Okay, I got you. So I'm going add folder to. I get it. Okay, add folder to workspace. So I'm looking for.
It's right in there. It's in that root right here, where you are. So
C Mug. Was it Flask?
Flask something, yeah.
Flask. Here we go.
Yeah, that one. And then it's add.
Yes.
Yes. And then that should populate. Oh, you got to click.
I already clicked yes. It's working. You can see the circle moving.
You click on the.
Okay, now it's not working.
Yeah, on the left, click there. Yeah, click that one. There you go. Okay, so now that should look similar to the one on the
so it
file.
Says app.py Docker license. There's a README requirements. There's and Venva's up here. It's all there.
So it's all there. So that's the setup. So you don't have to. That's just showing you what it's there now that you know that it's there and why we opened it in Visual Studio Code. It all makes sense now.
All right. So now I want to look at my app.py file.
Yeah, correct.
So let's add the following lines of code to our app.py. So do I change this whole thing or is this additional? This has to be.
I think this might be.
Oh.
I think this might be done already.
I think that like what we just did all these things for us instead of doing it from scratch. But it's good to look at it anyway, so we can just go.
Yeah, let's look at it.
We can just go through it this way. So this is.
So just change it. Just change it from hello from Flask to Docker to say hello from the Cloud Brothers.
Yeah! Woo! Party!
Wait, you gotta pause for sound effects. You got the soundboard going?
Yep. Yeah, I do. It's mostly cheering.
Yeah.
Okay, so we did that.
Save that. Control S.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, you're right. Now if we run Python app.py on the command line to test our Flask app.
Yeah.
We should get results.
We saw this already. So all we would do if we ran this now we would see the Cloud Brothers thing. Right?
Yeah, I saved.
So I don't think you need to run it. Oh, you want to try something here? Run a terminal in the Visual Studio Code.
I forgot how to do that.
Five to the right.
There you go.
Yeah. A new terminal. Oh, doesn't like that. Never mind. Don't do that. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole to troubleshoot stuff. Just close that and pretend it never happened.
Okay, that never happened.
Okay. So now how to modify the Docker file is where we're at. So
how to modify the Docker file. So open Docker file. Look at that. So this should all look the same too. Send chat, blah, blah, blah. File 1 from Python.
They actually change it.
My Python's newer, though, to 3.92. Python, which is fine. .docker, copy requirements.txt, run pip3 install.
Yeah.
-r requirements.txt, copy ... as we had a long chat about that. command square bracket, all these different things, host. All right, run. Before you build an image, the below code should be the first line of every Docker file. It tells the Docker what syntax to build.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, that's what's there, but it's just telling you information. While it's possible
Yeah.
to create our base images, there's no need to go that far because Docker allows us to inherit existing images. Python Slimbuster in this
Change it to
case.
9.2 in the code, but that's fine. We don't want to go backwards.
Yeah.
Old article, I guess.
Interesting. All right. And then copy requirements text, copy. That's what's happening there. And then
Yeah.
run our image so far. So this is what's happening. There's the command. Whoop whoop.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the container doing its thing. So
since we had
you know what the Docker file, have you heard Docker file before?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we've done Docker before.
We've done Docker files before?
Well, yeah.
It's the thing I didn't know about.
It's all
I didn't
part
know
of
about
it.
Docker files for a while.
After all that remains us to build this large using Docker build, we can now enlist Docker's help in building the image. You can combine the build command, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you go back to the command prompt, or that one, and then do the Docker build. Images. You can do Docker images. No, the one you haven't built anything yet. You can do Docker images to show what you have. Yeah, you need to start your Docker desktop. That's not going to work until the Docker desktop is started.
Okay, hold on. Well, I don't know. I've kind of dropped the ball on this one, so I'm not sure we're going to be able to look at this today.
Huh? Talk about.
My Docker desktop's all weird.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
All it needs to be doing is running, and then this should work. Yeah.
It takes a while.
Yeah, all good. I know. Especially if you got the Kubernetes, the Kubernetes.
Yeah, baby.
You got the Kubernetes on. It takes a bit longer as well.
Docker engine is starting. Ooh, yeah. The site can't be reached.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, yeah, because I put
your Docker images should work now.
If I have any.
It'll tell you that.
Well, it is Minikube.
You do have one. You got Minikube image. Okay. So after you do this, you'll have two. If you do the Docker build, Docker... the command's on the README. I don't remember what it was.
Yep. So,
one, that's not the one. Yeah, it's that one.
This one here?
Yeah, that one. Correct. Correctamundo, as the Fonz would say. Hey!
Error. Error. I don't know. Yeah. What she said.
Take that out.
What?
Can we change that line, maybe?
What do you mean?
Well, it's the red one it's choking on is the... What's it saying?
Docker...
Can't resolve image config Docker IO ... something. So maybe that needs to be... Maybe you need to find a new one of that. Find the latest version. It might be a wrong version or something.
Load build definition from Docker file, transferring Docker file. Did that load Docker, ignore transferring context. To be error resolve image config for Docker IO / Docker file 1. Docker file pull token for registry 1 docker.io. I don't know. I think this may have something to do, as I was mentioning, my I was
You
kind
messed
of
up Docker.
like, well, I was playing with it to learn it, and then my images and containers are all weird.
Uh,
But I don't know how to troubleshoot it because it's a new thing.
I would
Um,
just uninstall it and reinstall it. Windows.
yeah, I'll
Windows
probably do
solution.
that. I'll do that right now though. But you get the point. Um, if we did it
Yeah, we
right,
don't. I don't really have anywhere to go with this
all
other
right.
than trying a VM because this didn't really take that long.
No, it's fine.
And if you have, probably you could do this one actually on your Ubuntu, like the not the virtual machine one, but the or not virtual box, but just the WSL one.
Oh yeah. Well, maybe
How far are we in?
we are 35 minutes in. We
Yeah,
so
try it. I'll just try it on the VM and see if we can get it done and because
onto the
I
virtual
don't think they should.
onto this one. Or my are you talking about
The virtual box.
the or
Virtual box is just easier.
are you talking about the Oracle Virtual Box?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, stand by. I'm gonna know.
Yeah.
And we are back. Through the magic of
All right.
television, we have our Oracle VirtualBox VM running over here with our terminal. So we'll look back at well, okay, we'll keep that there
So
like that.
yeah, all you have to do is set up the app first. So
So
you can just go to the Flask app, the second tab.
yeah, so go here and then I'll do the Linux instructions. So for Mac OS
Oh
and
yeah,
then
correct.
Linux, it's this git
I do
clone.
one of those at a time. I
Oh,
do
one
one
line at a time. You do one
Yeah,
line at a time.
that's
Okay,
what I usually do.
sure, let's do it. I'll defer to your expertise.
Just if anything goes wrong, this is just easier. I think you can skip that one that comes up. Yeah.
Okay.
That one's done.
That one
right.
looks like it's done. So
Next
we will
line.
move on to the next line, which is the CD. We'll change the directory, Flask Docker app. Right. Okay, that looks good.
Correct. Yeah, that's correct.
And that was fast. And then we're going to go Python
Python 3.
We'll go over here. Paste. That looks good. Venv.
Yeah.
All right. Fast.
Oh, best. Oh, I need to sudo that.
Oh.
Wait. Not created.
No, it doesn't.
Not available. You need to install. Oh yeah, install that first and then run it again. So we found a bug.
Okay. 3.8.
Not really a bug.
Dash.
It's all one word. There's no space there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's correct. That is correct.
I don't have to do sudo? I'm so confused.
No, you don't. Or maybe you do. Yeah, try sudo that. Sudo and then that same
Are
command.
you brute? Yes.
Yeah, that's what it's asking you. That's what sudo does. You're not root. You can sudo su into root or... Oh yeah, just do that. Works too. Yeah, it's gonna ask you for a password.
Ugh.
Ah, there you go. Perfect. Ubuntu is kind of fun.
I like Ubuntu. It's
so now you need to run.
It's way cooler. So now I got to go up to this one, Python 3 and
correct,
Venv.
Yeah,
now it should work.
That should work. There you go.
All right, nice.
Okay, so now activate for the Linux one.
So it says Mac OS Linux. So it's either.
I do the source. I do the source one.
All right.
I don't know why. That's the one I'd try.
Because you're right-minded.
I guess so. Yeah, there you go. Now you see how it changed. See the Venv came for your in front of your thing.
Yep.
That means you're in the virtual environment.
Oh, okay, got you. You can tell because it's spelled V.
Yeah, then
VNV, virtual environment. Very good.
yeah, and now this is the same for everything.
So now it's installed the requirements. We haven't done this one yet.
No, correct.
Oh wait, I gotta right click. Oh no, it's oh there we go. It's being a butt. No,
Enter. You gotta hit enter.
I did. It's collecting click.
That click is cool. Click is like
Downloading
a
click.
command. Click is like a command line thing. You can write your own command line.
There it is. I'm a Ginger Ninja.
Yeah.
Okay, and then run the application.
Yeah, we don't need to do that. We already know. We already know what that does. So we don't need to prove that works. We can just go back to the thing for speed. It's just gonna do that container thing, right?
Sure.
And just we've already gone through this part one, and looks like everything was already there, right?
Yeah.
So we might as well just do the Docker build because we've already covered what everything else is. So just go down to the Docker.
Yeah, we've already
build
looked
command.
at that.
Yeah, that's all the instructions, and then how to build the Docker image.
Okay, here we go.
So yeah, that one.
Docker build. This is just going right into the terminal.
Yeah, it uses your Docker file.
That we have. Okay,
that the dot looks for the Docker file, and a Docker file is always called Docker file with a capital D.
I got you. All right, now look for it. Find it, you son of a beeper.
Yeah, hopefully this.
Sending build contacts to Docker daemon. 11. Yeah, oh, there it goes. It's building, and this is why Linux is superior to Windows for DevOps.
For everything in every way, shape, or form, including everything you want to do ever. No, not quite that bad. But, there are certain things that it's better for, and Docker is one of them.
Well, yeah.
And the reason everybody uses a Mac is because the Mac is based on open. What is it? Not OBS.
No.
Oh man, I can't remember now. Open Berkeley system.
I have no earthly
Anyway, it's the early version of Unix.
Oh, this is Unix. I know this.
Yeah.
Remember Jurassic Park?
Yeah, the one line.
And all the computer people went. Good one.
Excellent.
I know this.
This is good. It's actually good that this is taking a while. It's downloaded everything. I don't know what those other ones are, but these are all the pieces or the layers that it needs to build its container. And when you do, you probably have to start Docker on here as well, unless it's doing it already. When you do the Docker images.
Let's see. So we're at this point. We just
wait.
I know. Sorry. I'm not touching that.
Yeah.
So then this is the next one. I just did this, right? The Docker build one. That's why I had it
correct.
Highlighted.
That's what you're waiting for.
And now I want to look. So the next thing I want to do is run Docker images when this ends.
Yeah. So, seems to be stuck, but I don't think it's stuck. Oh, it's extracting. Downloading one, it's extracting one. Ah, damn it! I think it's stuck.
It could be that's a pretty big file. For a virtual machine, and I didn't check how much power I have in here. I don't think it's that big.
I don't think you gave it very much memory. It'd be nice if you could see some kind of thing moving.
Some kind of indication that I believe that it's stuck.
Is your VM crashed completely?
Yeah, I think so. Well, let's look. I can move that. I can't click on anything.
Yeah, it's crashed completely.
Okay.
All right, well, just restart it. Try again.
Yeah, hold.
Correct.
All right, again through the magic of television, I've got Linux open again on the Windows desktop because the Oracle box was not cooperating. Because
Didn't like us.
didn't like it, so I ran out of memory. I have to work on configuring that. But anyway, so we're going to try this live and see if we're large and in charge.
Sir. Run
No.
Docker on here. So WSL integration in your Docker desktop settings. For details about the Docker desktop WSL2, visit So might as well look at that.
All right, let's do it. All right, I am
find all kinds of rabbit holes.
So close yet so far.
Yeah.
Redirecting.
All righty. Pretty sure we could figure this out, but yeah, no, this is just best practices.
Well, I already have Docker Desktop, so
yeah, I think you just need to go to your settings and figure it out. Oh, there you go.
Where'd you see
it? WSL2 develop with Docker and WSL2. It doesn't say anything.
Open VS Code, Virtual Studio Code, and install the remote SL extension.
Yeah, I think you've done that already. That's what that thing in your VS Code was.
If I were to, I can't run it here though, like in the terminal, right? Because I'm not in the right folder.
No, those are Windows. Those are Windows commands, I believe.
Oh.
Can we see your Docker desktop settings? See if we can just figure it out. Go to, I don't know where settings are even. Oh, there we go.
Use the WSL2 base engine. Windows Home can only run on the WSL backend, so it's already doing it.
Checked, yeah. Oh, expose the daemon to without. Oh no, that's not something. It says it's already checked.
Transport layer. Yeah, I can't uncheck it.
Yeah.
And it only works when running here, so you can't even use Docker Desktop. Apparently, you can do software updates here too. No, do I? That's the other thing is like, dude, it's not going to work, right?
Can you just install Docker?
That's what I mean. That's what I'm trying to see.
Yeah, just install Docker on Ubuntu. That should work fine.
How do I get out of it again? In Linux CD, like I want to go to my base directory? Oh, in Ubuntu, yeah. What is it? Sudo apt install Docker?
Yeah, I think so. Apt install is 2 words. I know it's very confusing.
What?
Space install. And then Docker, yeah. Yeah, very confusing. It does, because it says it recommends, it doesn't say you have to do it. So this should work.
Theoretically, I shouldn't have to do any of this.
No.
I should just be able to do this once Docker's there, but if I didn't have Docker in this Ubuntu package, then it's definitely not going to work. All right, oops.
So so up arrow probably a couple times.
Where was I? This one?
The Docker, yeah, that Docker one. There you go. Command Docker could not be found in this stuff. Try copying and pasting that. This Docker thing cannot be found.
Where do you see that?
It says this Docker cannot be found in this WSL2 distro. Yeah, just take that line and copy paste that one line right above where you are.
Which line are you talking about? Like, man, I mean, and paste it where? You talking about this?
Oh, one line above that. And just Google that.
Oh, you're talking about Google. See, I don't know what you're talking. I didn't know you're talking about going to Google. Oops.
Yeah, look, yeah, exactly.
Hmm. Not able to change to WSL2 and not able to install Docker. Right?
Yeah,
But the
it's not
difference
allowing you to
is,
change it. That's correct.
did you apt install Docker within your WSL environment? You're going to
Maybe.
need to install full Docker for OS, then install the Docker CLI tool within your WSL environment, pointing WSL's Docker at your host machine's Docker port.
Where's the one with the green checkbox? Oh, there you go. What's this all about, though?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think we
Hit a wall here.
for huh? I think we
What?
hit a wall. Yeah.
Let's see. Let me check something.
Think you have to open up another because you're in Ubuntu right now, right? Oh, interesting.
Failed to fetch.
Yeah, that won't work because you need to do that from
Close though, because it
close.
told me up here.
Yeah, but what? I don't think it's the same thing. I think it's the same thing.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, it says this works for me only after restarting the computer.
After restarting the computer,
Yeah, I don't think this is gonna work. I think you're in the
so you're in
wrong
the same
context.
error. Okay, well, that's fine.
You need to be in like the command line, not in the Ubuntu command line. Because right now
Oh,
you're in the Ubuntu command line.
how do I escape
So
it?
just open up another one.
Oh yeah, Dave. All right, let's do it. Nope.
Yeah. So, I think if you do, you might not have that version of Ubuntu. You might need a different version of Ubuntu, but none of these things that you're looking at in Stack Overflow have a green check mark. So I wouldn't be doing any of them unless they had a green check mark and made sense to you.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because these are just try this, try this, try this, try this.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. Like,
Try the fourth one down. How to fix Docker could not be found with 20W. Try that one. Yeah, see if that says anything. Yeah, what? That's the other thing I was thinking. Try it in PowerShell as an administrator.
okay, let's find PowerShell. I'll right click it, run as administrator. Yes. And come here. All right. Make sure you've installed Docker Desktop and WSL2. See, that's the thing is, well, it
I
has
don't
to
know which
be.
version of WSL you're on.
Well, that's why I'm wondering if it's grayed out. Like, is
Yeah,
it
yeah, you're
is it
not on 2.
is it grayed out because I don't have it, or is it
I think it might be grayed out because you don't have 2. So you need to install 2.
so in the
Yeah,
PowerShell? Do this.
which is where you're at.
My system.
Yeah. Already installed.
Okay. Let's see. WSL.
Bringing you the help.
I know it's funny, but like,
WSL dash dash list.
Ubuntu's there.
So Ubuntu. So it's just Ubuntu. So uh, you don't need the Ubuntu version thing because you only have the one version. The version thing
Yeah.
doesn't help you anyway. Uh,
Ah.
oh yeah, upgrade from WSL1 to WSL2. Set default version to 2. Try that one.
Hold
It's
on.
saying this WSL2 version doesn't, so I think you're already on to.
Hmm. Yeah, it's saying version 2. Yeah, see? So it is. It's running in Ubuntu version
Yeah,
2.
yeah. So that's so it's not.
So that answers my question.
Yeah,
Okay.
answers the question. Okay.
Um.
We can
So,
figure out WSL thing. Uh,
huh?
let's see if we can try going to that website again.
Which website?
The docs.docker.com go ws, the one that's right above the thing on the command line,
Are you talking about this one?
or on the Ubuntu. No, on the right side at the very bottom, right above where it says desktop TK something. There's a that yeah we went there before, but it wasn't useful.
But
I thought. But
did,
try
did
again.
didn't we already do this? Are you talking about this
Yeah,
one?
let's try it. Yeah, all right. Let's try again. See if we just missed something. All right. So you're on Windows 11, right?
Uh-huh.
The WS feature WSL2 on features on, so that's correct. Oh, download and install the Linux update package. I don't know if you've done that one.
Where do you see that? This one?
Yeah. Uh, Seems like you wouldn't be able to do this if you didn't have it already.
Did we already do this? Fine.
Yeah, that's done already. Can you do a Control F for WSL? Or what is it? All on Windows Server. Oh, you're on a newer version. Yeah, I don't know what to do now.
Okay. Well, we're sitting at 58 minutes.
Yeah,
So
I don't want to troubleshoot
shall we
this. I
call
think
this to be continued?
yeah, I think
All
we
right.
do your thing that you suggested before that I wasn't listening to do Cloud9, and then we'll do it. We'll call the stream Cloud9 to the rescue.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Well,
Yeah,
thanks for hanging out with us and watching us
yeah.
learn
It
and
doesn't
love
always
and
go
laugh
perfect.
with you. But that is the world of computers. All right. Peace out, homies. Have a good week.